Hi folks, it's Cairo from IT Visualizer channel. We will continue our lab, the Red Alert lab. This is the video number 2 in our series. In the previous video I have been discussing the following. We have been discussing about the begin of creation of the infrastructure of the lab. So we have our program or our hypervisor program. What I mean by hypervisor, it is a program used to create virtual machines and virtual network. So our hypervisor program, it is Vmware Workstation Pro 16. We will use this program to create virtual networks and virtual workstations. So the first thing before creating virtual machines is to create the virtual network. So we have created a virtual network in Vmware Workstation Pro, and then we named this virtual network VMnet8, and we have assigned an IP network range for this virtual network, which is 192.168.1.0. and the setting of this virtual network, we have this virtual network will work as a net, which means that every virtual machine will be able to access the internet by using the net option, and we have disabled the local DHCP in the VM Workstation Pro software. So you can assign or make the VM Workstation Pro assign IP addresses to your virtual machines by using a built-in DHCP. But we will disable this option because we will already install the DHCP server role on one of our virtual machines to act as a DHCP and assign IP addresses to our virtual machines. So this is the first thing, and then we have created a virtual machine, and then we install Windows Server 2019 Data Center Core. So this is our main operating system. It's a non-graphical interface operating system to be more secure, and then we have attached this virtual machine to the virtual network that we have created previously, and we have two network cards assigned to this machine because we need to make teaming between these two network cards, and we have said that there is a lot of benefits for having two network cards on a virtual machine on a server, and to make teaming between them so that we have redundancy. So if one of these network cards fail, the connection between the server and the workstation will not be down, because the other network card will be up and running, and it will be as a backup solution or a redundant solution to our failed network card. Okay, and then the first thing we need to know when you are working in a virtual environment in the VM Workstation Pro, you need to install the VMware Tools. These VMware Tools enable you to share files between your laptop or your host and the virtual machines, which are called guests. So you can share files between your laptop and your virtual machines after installing the VMware Tools. And this is not only the benefits of installing VMware Tools. VMware Tools installed some drivers and some softwares to facilitate the integration between your host and your guest, or between your laptop and your virtual machines, and a lot of things. So it is best practice to install always VMware Tools after installing the operating system on the virtual machine. The first thing you need to do. And then we configured different setting for this Windows Server Core using a command called sconfig. So sconfig, it is an alternative for the graphical interface. You type sconfig in the command prompt for the Windows Core. The command prompt is a black screen. You need to type commands in it to manage the Windows Server Core. So through this black screen we will type sconfig, which will display for us a couple of options. Okay, these options enable you to do different settings. For example, one of them is to name the computer, one of them is to set IP address for the computer or for the network card, one of them is to change the date and time. So all of these are in a menu which is not graphical. Of course, it is in some type of very simple graphical interface, but not a complete graphical interface. So through it you can configure different things. So for example, you can configure the name of the machine, you can configure date and time of the machine, you can add another local administrator account. So we all know that you will install Windows. To log in on this Windows for the first time, there is a default account created named administrator, which with this account you can be able to log in to the Windows. Okay, this account you need to set a very strong password on it, and to rename it from administrator to any other name, and to disable it completely. Why? Because this is the best practice for Microsoft. Why? Because most of the hackers know this account, and this account have highest privileges on the operating system. Okay, and after disabling this account you can create another account that have the same rights and privileges of the administrator account. So we have created a local or second local administrator account, and then we will enable remote desktop, so you can be able to access the server remotely from outside or from another machine, and to configure to respond to ping. So by default the Windows Core have the option for responding for ping disabled. So for example, if you need to know if the server is up or not, we all know the ping command. You just ping and type the IP of the server and press enter. It will send some packets to the server to know if this server is up or not. If the server is up, it will respond to the packets that you are sending with okay, I have received the packets. If it's not up, it will not reply to your packets and it will appear down. So we need to enable the ping response, so we can be able to test the connection, okay, or test the connection between the workstations and the server. This is very critical. Okay, and we will enable Windows updates. So by default Windows updates are enabled on Windows Server Core, but with the option of download updates only. So you will download the updates only, but you need to install it manually, so you need to initialize the installation. Okay, and this is a good practice for servers, because you don't want the Windows to download and install updates automatically and restart the server automatically. This will make a lot of headache, because the server should be up and running 24/7. You need to make a downtime plan, okay, to tell your users that you are installing updates on the server, and the server will not be available for a frame of time. And then we have installed the updates for this operating system to be the latest, or to install all of the security updates to be more secure. And then we have configured something called telemetry setting. Telemetry setting, it is some setting Microsoft or it is an option in Microsoft that will collect data considering or data related to the performance of the Windows, the problems encountered by the Windows, and send them to the servers of Microsoft in US state or United States. So this is like a feedback about the operating system and the performance of the operating system, just to improve the performance of the upcoming Windows versions. Okay, this could be a security breach for some environments or some organizations, so we have configured this setting to be very restrictive, so not to send a lot of data, to only send basic data about the performance and not any data concerning the organization, especially it is a military organization according to our lab scenario. And then we have updated our Windows Defender. So the first thing you need to do before promoting the server, so in this lab or this video will promote the server to be a domain controller. Before doing this, you need to have your Windows updated to the latest version, and your antivirus to be updated to the latest version. So we will update the Windows Defender to the latest version or file definitions. And by the way, I do not recommend the Windows Defender antivirus to be your antivirus, okay, or antivirus program. You should install another program to be your default antivirus, okay, and you will disable the firewall. It is the best practice to disable Windows firewall on servers because it makes a lot of problems, okay. But you need to have a hardware firewall installed in your network, for example something like FortiGate or Sophos or Cisco ASA or something, just to know that you can defend your network, and install a good antivirus in your server that contains an intrusion detection system, okay, and maybe an internal firewall as well. Anyway, we have done this, and then we have installed PowerShell 7. The default PowerShell version installed on Windows Server Core 2019 data center, it is PowerShell 5, okay. So I have downloaded the installation file for PowerShell 7 and installed it on our Windows Server core. PowerShell 7 had a lot of modifications and a lot of useful commands more than PowerShell 5. Okay, and then after that we have configure our network teaming. So we have two network cards, we have made network teaming between them, and then we have set a static IP address for this server, and we set our external DNS server so we can access the internet for a moment, okay, to get the updates of the antivirus and Windows. After that we will disable this external DNS server, and the Windows core or server will get its Windows updates and antivirus updates from the WSOS. Okay, and we have a graph explaining all of the infrastructure of this lab in graph, something like the IP addresses, the network range, the domain, all of this undone in a simple graph I have discussed in the previous video. So in this video we will continue working with our Windows Server core, which will be our first domain controller in our domain, which will be called redalert.internal. And we have discussed why we are using internal instead of local in the introduction of this series, or this video labs or video series. So we will now begin promoting the server to be a domain controller, and then after that we will create a workstation that has Windows 10 on it, okay, and join it to the domain and use this workstation to work remotely on the Windows Server core. So we will use this workstation as our graphical interface to manage the Windows Server core, and we will see that we have a lot of graphical tools. We can manage our server that doesn't have a graphical interface. There is Windows Admin Center, there is RAS or RAST tools, there is the Server Manager console. All of this I will show you all in this video. So let's begin. Here we can see that, let's begin the video. Here we will open the VM Workstation Pro program, and then we will open our server. Okay, it is not promoted yet to be a domain controller, so we need to promote it to a domain controller. So let's open it. Here you can see that the booting time is or time frame is much less than the normal Windows Server graphical interface. Okay, the one Windows with the graphical interface. So we will press Ctrl Alt Delete, okay, and then we will type the password for the administrator, and then we need to first see the server roles installed on this machine. So we need to install, before promoting the server to be a domain controller, we need to first install. Here, by the way, let me show you all a little bit of something here. We need to get back 1 minute. So let me show you all this. This is the command prompt, and let me show you all something here. This is a website, okay, or not a website, it's a YouTube channel. I used its video as a reference for working, okay, or creating my domain controller and a lot of things. This is called 1Byte. I think it's called 1Byte YouTube channel. So this is the name. Okay, it's called 1Byte ATLL. Okay, me. It's called someone called Carly Slashy 220. So this is the videos that I use as a reference. I encourage you all to go to his channel and see. This is a lot of useful videos concerning how to install Windows Server core and to manage it, okay, and some useful videos about PowerShell. Okay, anyway, so I'll use this video as a reference. So the first thing we need to do before promoting the server to be a domain controller, we need to install Active Directory Domain Services Tools. So first of all, we will go to sconfig. Here we can see that all of the settings are done already, and this is the I need to do something here. I need to go to the network connection, okay, or the network card, and set the preferred DNS from 8888 to 192.168.1.8, because this server will be a domain controller and DNS server at the same time. So we need to set, before promoting the server to be a domain controller, we need to set the preferred DNS to be the IP of the server. Okay, so this is the first thing you need to do, and then we need to install Active Directory Domain Services Tools. Okay, and then after that to promote the server to be a domain controller. So let's first change the preferred DNS server. Take note, if you didn't change the preferred DNS server to reflect the IP of the server, okay, the domain or promoting the server to be a domain controller will not work. So now we will press 9 and then we'll press 3 to select the network card, and then 2 to set the DNS servers, and press enter. Or we can do something else. We can tell him to clear DNS server setting number 3. So now we don't have any DNS server setting, and press 2 and then type the new IP address of the new DNS, or what will be a DNS server, which is the IP address of the server itself, which will be a domain controller and DNS at the same time, and press 4 to return to the main menu, and then get out of the sconfig menu completely. Okay, so this is first we will get, and then 15 to get out of the server configuration menu. Then we need to type a PowerShell command called get Windows feature. This Windows feature should begin with the 2 letters A and D. Why we are doing this? To list the different Windows features that begin with the letters A and D. Why? Because our Active Directory Domain Services Windows feature is named or beginning with these 2 letters. So let's see what he will get. Now he is collecting data. He will get to you and see what are the Windows features that begin with the letter A and D that are installed on this machine. Okay, so let's see what the data he will retrieve. So it will take a little bit of time, and then here we can see something here. No, let me return back. So let's get okay. So here we go. We can see that these are all okay Windows features that are available on this server. It is not installed yet, so we need to select Active Directory Domain Services. Here it is available on the server, so it is available. So we need to select it and install it, and after installing this domain services Windows feature, we will promote the server to be a domain controller. Okay, so let's go and get the command install Windows feature AD command services, including the management tool. So it will install the Active Directory Domain Services and the tools that we can use to manage the Active Directory, both in one line. So we will type it in the command prompt. By the way, you need to go to the PowerShell module. So you type in the command prompt PowerShell and then press enter. Just a moment, guys. So let's continue, guys. Here we can see that the Active Directory Domain Services is available on the server. So this feature is available, but we need to install it. So we will type this command, install the AD Domain Services, including the management tools. So it will install the Active Directory Domain Services and the tools that we will work with to manage the Active Directory. So this command will get the features that begin with the letter AD. All of these begin with AD, and then we need to install Windows features, and after that we will type a command to promote this server to be a domain controller. So let's wait and see. So it's collecting data. Let me wait and see, because I think I am recording. So here it will install. It's collecting the data and start the installation of the Windows feature. Installation 61%. %, 71%. 86%, 90%, 92, I think 98 maybe. So it will take a little bit of time. Okay, so now we can see that it is success. There is no restart and it is installed successfully. Okay, after that we need to type another command which calls import module ADS deployment. Okay, what is this command? This command will add some commands to the PowerShell. So for example, if we need to promote this server to be a domain controller, we need to type a certain command in the PowerShell, but maybe this command is not available or it's not installed in the PowerShell. So by this command we tell him to import the module or to import the commands for promoting the server to be a domain controller in the PowerShell. So as I said before, if you need to promote the server to be a domain controller, you need to type certain commands in the PowerShell. These commands maybe they are not available, so we need to install them in the PowerShell so they can be available. Okay, so import module ADS deployment. So it will go to the internet and get the available commands or get the commands that we need to make the PowerShell promote this server to be a domain controller. Okay, so here we can see now it is imported already, and by the way it's already available because this is the Windows server, so you'll see this module installed. Now we will type the command install ADS forest. So now this command will promote the server to be a domain controller. Okay, so now it will ask us for the domain name. What is the domain name? It will be redalert.internal, and then it will ask us about the another thing which is called safe mode. Let me show you safe mode administrator password. What is the safe mode administrator password? This is a password that the Active Directory will use to restore something in the Active Directory. Let me explain it more. There is something called Active Directory service restore mode. This is something like a special Windows mode. Okay, you access it by using a certain username and password to fix problems with the Active Directory or to restore a backup for the Active Directory. Okay, so set mode administrator password. This is the password that you will set to use it in this special mode, which is the Active Directory restore mode, to access the Active Directory restore mode and work on it to fix the Active Directory or fix problems with the Active Directory. So this is the password we will set, and then we need a confirmation. So this is it, and then confirm the password, and then yes. So because he will restart the server after this server is promoted to be a domain controller, now it will begin verifying that your server have the prerequisites or everything is needed, or it is the hardware is available and the software requirements are available to promote this server to be a domain controller. So now there's some warning concerning the DNS and some things. Anyway, we will ignore it or because they not represent a problem. Anyway, so now after a certain time he will restart the server, and now we have our server promoted to be a domain controller. This is the last time, or maybe we will take some time until we return back to this server and use the command prompt for configuring this Windows. We will use a workstation with a graphical interface to manage this server remotely. Okay, and we will use a lot of or different graphical interface tools to manage the server. I will show you all what I mean by this. So now we will see, just a moment. You will see apply computer setting, and then we wait for a certain amount of time, and then we will see that there is changes. Okay, when you log in with the administrator account, it will not be you can see red alert. I will show you all what I mean by this. Here we can see that here it was changed from the name of the server, which is RACC01, to the name of the domain. So here we are accessing the domain /administrator. Now we will type the password. Remember what we have to do with this account, I have said before, and then we will log in. Okay, now we will type a command, who am I, to tell you what user you are. You are the administrator of the domain. Okay, red alert. Okay, so now we need to create a workstation and use it to manage the server remotely. Here we can see when I type exit, it will close the command prompt. How to get it back? You will click on the Control Alt Delete. So let me show you all what I mean by this. Just a moment. Again, just a moment. No, here again, just a moment, here we will type, or we will press Control Alt Delete here. Okay, just a moment. I think here this will, okay, press Control Alt Delete again. Okay, and then here I pressed Control Alt Delete to get this one. Okay, so now I need to pause the video for a moment. Just a moment. So here, guys, we will now begin creating a new virtual machine which we will have Windows 10 installed on it. Okay, this is it, and work with it to connect remotely and configure the server. We tell him next, and then we will put the operating system DVD later, and now we will choose to install Windows 10 64-bit system next, and then we will name it PAW. It's Privilege Access Workstation, and we will talk about it later in the upcoming videos. And we will assign hard disks 150 gigabyte. It should be more, as I said before, and customize your hardware. We need to make the processor to be only one processor, and we will give it 2 gigabyte of RAM. Okay, and we'll install on it Windows Server, Windows 10 LTSC Enterprise 2019. And we need to put this, or attach, or put this virtual machine on our virtual network VMnet 8, the one that we have discussed in the beginning of the video. So now we have that. We need to edit the virtual setting of the machine, and then we need to put the network adapter on the network VMnet 8. Okay, and then we need to do a couple of things. We need to put the ISO image. So just wait for a moment, guys, just a moment. We need to put the ISO image of the Windows 10 LTSC. We will put it, and then we'll begin installation of the Windows. So let's wait for a moment. I will need to pause the video for a moment. So here, guys, we can see here we will edit the virtual machine setting, and then we will go to the DVD-ROM and add the DVD for the Windows 10 LTSC operating system. Okay, here you go. We need to choose it, and then this is for May 2020, and then okay, and then we need to make a couple of settings. We will power it on. Okay, just a moment. So let's now continue. Here we need the operating system. Okay, this is the DVD. By the way, I need to tell you something, guys. You need to have your Windows 10 LTSC 2019 or any Windows 10 operating system to support the UEFI BIOS system. Okay, because this is a secure system of BIOS that Microsoft and most of the security standards recommend for using it. We all know that before installing any operating system on any PC, you have any Windows operating system or any PC, you have a small operating system which is not graphical interface. It's called BIOS. Okay, so this contains some or a small system that will boot your PC and do some changes or do some configuration. This system, which is called BIOS, there is an updated version or more secure version of it. It's called UEFI. It is the best practice to have your PC have the UEFI system installed on it, because it's much more secure and it will secure you from a lot of ransoms and a lot of malwares. Okay, so this is a recommendation from Microsoft and a couple of organizations. And in the Vmware Workstation Pro, you will have UEFI BIOS installed by default. So all of these virtual machines will have UEFI system installed on them. Okay, but you need to make sure that your operating system supports or it can be installed on UEFI UEFI virtual machines or UEFI PCs or virtual machines or PCs that contains the UEFI system. Okay, so let's continue next and then install. And then we will make two partitions. So let's wait for a moment, and then we will accept the license agreements, and then we will make two partitions. So we will accept the license agreement, okay, and then custom installation, and then we will have our hard disk 150 gigabyte. I have said before that the operating system should be installed on a partition which is 150 gigabyte or more. But here I have already all the hard disk is 150, so I will make 100 for the partition that will contain or which we will install the operating system on it, and the rest will be for the D partition. But as a best practice, you need to make the C partition as 150 gigabyte, and the rest of the hard disk can be made in another partition. And I prefer to make only two partitions. Okay, not we don't need to have much partitions or your operating system, okay, or on or your Windows. So let's wait, or let's make it 100 gigabyte. This is the first partition, and then apply. Okay, and then we will have the other one, which is the D partition, will be 50 gigabyte, and we need to format it. Okay, why? Because you can create the partition, but you will not be able to access it unless you format it. Okay, so you need to format the D partition, and then we will choose the second partition to install the Windows operating system on it, and by default the system will or the DVD or the operating system will be format this partition and install Windows on it automatically. So we have formatted the D partition, and then we will choose the second partition and tell him next. Now it will begin installation of the Windows. Okay, it will take a little bit of time. We'll pause the video until it's finished. Now we have already finished the installation. We will have, or we will see, the out of the box experience phase, which are a couple of questions the Windows will ask you to customize your Windows. First of all, what's the region? It will be the United States. You can put the country that your region, or the country where you are, in which region. So Egypt, it is in Africa region, so this is it. And then we'll tell him just a moment, and then we need to tell him the keyboard language, the first keyboard, and if you need to add multiple keyboard layouts, so the first will be the United States keyboard, and we will add another one which is for the Egypt keyboard. You can leave this setting, by the way, because it will be installed by the Active Directory script. Okay, so we'll add the Arabic keyboard layout for Egypt, and then it will ask a couple of questions concerning some online services for the Windows. By the way, you need to disable them all because they are security breaches. We don't need the Windows to be working with external services outside our environment, which we do not control. Here it will ask about if you have internet connection. Still, I don't have internet connection, so I tell him I don't have connection now. Now you need to tell him to connect to the internet now. Just a moment. To get your updates for the office and some. I don't have internet now, so I tell him no, I don't need to get or not to connect to the internet. We will do this later when you have a DHCP installed, because this machine doesn't have an IP address. Here we will create a second local account, because by default we said that the Windows will have a user called administrator created by default, so we can log in to the Windows with it. Okay, but now you need to create a second one. Okay, so we'll create a second one, because by default Windows 10 disabled the administrator. This is a good thing in Windows 10. Windows 10 creates an account by default called administrator, so you can log to Windows with it, but it disable it directly and give you another way to create a second user. Okay, you can define it by yourself. So let's create Cairo of 1. This is to be the second local administrator account, and then we will type the password and we repeat it. Next, I will confirm the password. And then there is the secret question. The secret question is a couple of questions that the Windows will ask you, and you provide an answer for them. Okay, and it will be saved in the operating system. So for example, I have 3 questions. I will provide the answer now, and if I forgot my password, he will ask me the questions and I should provide the answer that I have written before. Okay, so this is why you ask secret questions. So now it will take a little bit of time. Here, this is another thing. If you want your timeline and Windows feature to help you continue what you are doing even when you switch devices, so this will sync the your history, your websites, your applications with external devices, something like your mobile, Windows Mobile 4 or something. So this is very, very dangerous. So I don't need this to be in a production environment, so we will disable this feature. We don't need this feature. Okay, so we tell him no, and then we will disable all of the privacy setting, because this is a security hazard. Here we can see that there is a couple of things, something to provide my device that is like a GPS, so I don't need this to be installed on my, or to be on my workstation, because I will be available for everyone to find me through the GPS system. The location, I don't need my location to be revealed, and diagnostic data, which is the telemetry data, we have discussed this before, we need also this to be disabled, and a lot of things. All of these are online services that we should be all disabled, because they are a security hazard for our environment, so we will disable them all. Okay, find my device and location and diagnostic data, we have discussed this, which is the telemetry data, and tailored experience and advertising ID. All of these should be disabled, and then accept. Okay, this is the welcome Windows welcome screen. Okay, so now we need to capture or need to install the VMware Tools. This is the first thing we need to do, so we can share things between this virtual machine and my laptop. I have shown you all how we can do this when we have created this server virtual machine. Now we need to personalize. Okay, there is a little bit of an error here. I need to have some icons appearing on my desktop, but for a certain reason he said that I don't have access. It is something related to the administrator account, or this account. It's not completely having full rights on the system. Okay, so this is another thing. I think we need to check the privileges for this this user, because I think he is a normal user, not an administrator. Okay, anyway, so we will run the VMware Tools. Okay, tell him yes, and then if you get to the themes, okay, and to the desktop icons, desktop icon, if I click on this one, he will tell me, here we can see that I can have my computer, user files, control panel, network, all of these to be on my desktop. Okay, so now we have it, and now we have installed the VMware Tools complete install. So we can see here that we is installing some drivers, graphic drivers, mouse drivers. All of these will increase or will improve the performance of the virtual machine. Okay, so you can see his VMCI driver, install some drivers for the network card, for the graphical, for the graphics card. So all of these are to improve the performance and to make integration between the host and the guest, so I can exchange files between my host and my guest. Okay, so this is for the network card driver. Okay, and some USB mouse. Okay, and a lot of things actually. So it's installing the video driver card. He will see that the screen will flicker because the network drive or the video network the video driver is installed correctly, so the screen will flicker and then the display will be aligned and the resolution will be corrected. Okay, here we can see that there is some flicker, and then you can see that the resolution is changed and I can see my screen in full. And now we need to restart the machine. Okay, so we need to restart it, and then we will do a couple of things. We will have some icons. We will prepare this machine, so tell him no. First of all, we need to change the name of the machine, and we'll do some changes to this machine, configure some configuration to make this machine to be our used workstation for accessing the server. A couple of things we will do now. We need to change the name of the machine. We'll make it PAW. Okay, and then we need to restart after that. So all of this, we are preparing this machine to be our terminal, as we can name our terminal to access our server. Okay, you know the terminal, the old type of computers where there was a server and there is a computer which is a terminal. Only its function is only it's only a screen and you work entirely on the server. Okay, so now we need to do a couple of things. We need, after renaming, first of all we need to join this machine to the domain. So here we have changed the name of this machine and we need to join it to the domain, but we don't have a DHCP, so we need to set a static IP address for this machine, and this is preferable because this machine will be our terminal to the server, and it is preferable that this machine to have a static IP address, because if the DHCP is down for any reason, we will not be able to access the server remotely. So this machine should have a static IP address, and actually we will configure or we'll do some security setting and configuration of this machine to be very restricted and to be very secure. So this machine will only, its function is to connect to the server. We will not give it access to internet, we will not do any other functions on it. We will only use it as a terminal to access the server to make configuration on it. So we'll give it a static IP address, because I don't know if the DHCP is down, we will not be able to access the server remotely. So this should have a static IP address. We will deal with it as a server. So this workstation will be dealt with as a server. What I mean by this, we will give it the same security standard, or we will make it very secure. We will give it a static IP address. We will deal with it to be very secure. Okay, so now we will go and give a static IP address to this machine. We will put, and by the way, this machine will not access the internet. Okay, we will only use it internally. This is one of the security standards when you are creating a PAW or a privilege access workstation. So we will put a static IP address, the IP of the machine, the subnet mask, and the IP of the domain controller, so it can join the domain. So let's wait and see. Here we will open the control panel, okay, and then we will just arrange the icons by the small icons view, okay, and then we go to the network, and then we will open the Ethernet connection and set the static IP address properties, and then so we will not put a gateway, so this machine will not access the internet, okay. And I need to have, but just wait for a moment. Here we will put the static IP address, okay, just a moment here guys. It's my best practice that before joining this machine to the domain, give it access to the internet, update the Windows operating system, and update the antivirus on this machine. So before joining this machine to the domain, we need to update the operating system of this machine and to install a good antivirus and update it to the latest version, so this machine to be completely secure. How we can make Windows update? This is simply to go to there and then to go to the setting, okay, and then to go to the Windows updates, okay, update and security, okay, and here we can see Windows updates, okay. So it's here you can tell him Windows update and check for updates. This is for the Windows. As for the antivirus, you just need to open the antivirus and tell him to update, okay. I have here Avera, but it's not available now, so it depends upon your antivirus program. But anyway, before joining this machine to the domain, you should secure it completely. And what I mean by securing it, you need to have the latest security updates installed on this machine for the operating system and for the antivirus and for any program that you have installed on this machine. If you have Office or everything, so you need to have everything updated on this machine. So now we will put the IP address, and we will not put a gateway, okay, so we will not give access this machine to the internet, and then we put the IP address in the DNS server. This is the IP address of the domain controller, which is at the same time acting as a DNS, okay. So now we will join this machine to the domain, okay. So now we need to before joining it to the domain, we will make a couple of things. Here we will make I think yes, first we need to join it to the domain, okay. So now we will join this machine to the domain by right click and properties, and then go to advanced setting or change, okay, for here computer name, change setting, and then change, and then tell him member of a domain. So we put LED alert, and then I'll type my administrator account on this server to join this machine to the domain, okay, administrator, and then type the password, and then okay. It will take a little bit of time until it joins the domain. It will take a little bit of time, and we will see after that. We will prepare this machine, a lot of tools and a lot of configuration to prepare this machine to access the server. We have all of the necessary tools from this workstation to access this server with a graphical interface, and I will show you all what I mean by this. First we need to make Ctrl Alt Delete, this is the icon, and then we will type the password. So here, no, I think here, okay, no, I didn't join, yes, here I joined the domain. Here I will type the administrator account. So here this is, we will join the domain, okay, or we will access with the user account in the domain, okay. So now we will go think we can, okay, we can just pause it, okay, and then here you go. I need to do a couple of things to personalize and put some icons, but here I will have some errors saying that I don't have privileges on this machine. This is related to some security setting on this machine. It need to be, or privileges, it need to be changed. But anyway, we can pass this real quickly, but not it will matter with us. Okay, so tell him run, and I think maybe CMD, maybe just a moment. Okay, just a moment. So you can type here and go to the setting. Okay, this is not also it, this is the United States. Anyway, so what we will do, just a moment, again. So here what I have did, I have got to the setting, just a moment. I go to the date and time and change this time to reflect the Cairo zone. Okay, this will be changed automatically when the Active Directory login script will be created, but we need to change the time for now, so the syncing of time between the workstation and the server is correct, because any problem with the syncing between of the time between the workstation and the server, this will make problems. Okay, so we need to configure the date and time to reflect Cairo time zone, and here we can see that the timing is correct. We need to, I think I need to go to the personalize anyway, so even the setting there we don't need it. So here we need to, what we will do, we will make a new toolbar or taskbar. What is this taskbar? Let me show you all what I mean by this. If you go, just a moment, we need to go back just a moment here, again. So what we'll do, we'll right click and toolbar and a new toolbar. This toolbar will help us to access some of the most important Windows tools we will need to configure our server remotely. So here we take this command and type it here in the new toolbar and tell him select folder. Here we can see that this is a small, here we can see we have a lot of all of the necessary things that we need, which will be in our grasp here. This is much more easier than access it from here. So we all know, if we can see that if you go to the normal one, okay, here we can see that this is not easy to get to. For example, if you get to the Windows or to something like the administrative center or accessories, all of these are not easy to access, but if we can access it more easily from this way, okay, it is much easier and more simpler. Okay, so this is one of the tricks we will use. We have a new toolbar, and then we need to do a small command. We'll put it in the PowerShell. What is the function of this command? So let's first have or open the PowerShell. So it is the PowerShell, and then right click. Okay, so here right click PowerShell, or we will go to the search and then type PowerShell or control panel. I will show you what I mean by right click and open the location. What we will do, these are shortcuts for different things that we need. For example, this is a shortcut for the command prompt. I can put it here and access the command prompt directly, and this is to have the run, to open the run and administrative tools. So this is a good way to have a couple of shortcuts I need. I will put it on my desktop. So what we'll do, we'll open the Cortana search and type control panel and open the location of the shortcut of the control panel, and then copy these shortcuts to the desktop. Okay, so this is it. These are all to prepare our environment to ease or to have the essential tools to access the server remotely. So here we can have a lot of useful shortcuts. Okay, and then we need to have the PowerShell also. I will show you also what we will do. Here we will open the search and then put CMD and right click and open folder or file location. Here we can see that these are the same icons. Okay, so this is two ways to get these shortcuts on your desktop. Okay, you can delete this one, by the way, and put it on the desktop. Now we need to set or put a command or run a command in the PowerShell, I will discuss why we need to do this. First of all, we will type in the search PowerShell and then right click, okay, right click and open file location. Here we can see also that there is a couple of useful shortcuts. All of these are shortcuts for the PowerShell, so we'll copy them and put them on the desktop so we can access the PowerShell easily. We don't need to open every time the start menu and then go to the PowerShell. All of these shortcuts could be available on my desktop easily, so we will copy them and put them on the desktop. Here, paste, okay, and then we will right click, or we will open the PowerShell and run as administrator, so you can run commands on it. The command that we will type, I will show you all, but let me first see the line to tell you what it will do exactly. Okay, so we will put the command line, or put this command, get execution policy, set execution policy unrestricted. What I mean by, or what this command will do, by default, if you run any script done by the PowerShell in any Windows version, it will not allow you. Okay, you need to set the execution policy. So if you have a script and you need to execute it on the Windows, okay, you need to set the PowerShell execution policy on the Windows to be unrestricted, okay, for one time. Okay, so you can do this every time you run a certain PowerShell script. So you can set the execution of PowerShell policy to be unrestricted for once, or for all times. We will do this because this will be a very secure terminal or workstation, and we will need to access or to need to run a lot of PowerShell scripts remotely on the server and other things. So we need the execution PowerShell policy on this machine to be unrestricted for all. So you need to type this and press enter, and then he will ask you a certain question here. The execution policy protects you from running scripts that you do not trust. Changing the execution policy might expose you to security risk described in about execution policy. Okay, do you wish to change the execution policy? Tell him yes. Okay, by the way, this will be set for all. Okay, so I think for all, or maybe for this time that you open the PowerShell. Anyway, so tell him yes. I think no, this is for all. Set execution policy for all time. Okay, so now we will set it to be yes, and then we need to go and install. I will show you all. First we need to access the we will go and we go and download something called Remote Server Access Tools. This is some tools you download from Microsoft and set it up on a Windows 10 machine to access servers remotely. First of all, we need to type some commands before. So I tell you, we download something called Remote Access Server Tools. These are tools you download and install from Microsoft on a workstation, so you can use them to access servers remotely. Okay, so to install these RAS tools, you need to know the version, or the Windows 10 version. So there is a couple of commands we will use from the PowerShell to know what is the version of this Windows. So there is a lot of versions for Windows 10. There is Windows 10 15.09, then Windows 10 17.09, Windows 10 20H2. So we need to know the version exactly of this operating system, because there is RAS tools for every Windows 10 version. So the RAS tools are not the same for every Windows 10 operating system. So let's run the command. First we will exit. We will run this command from the command prompt, not from the PowerShell. So WinEMOS, this is the version of the operating system. It's 17.763. This is the build version of the Windows. Okay, but still we need more info. This is not enough info, so we will run another command. So here we run another command, but let me get it more quickly here. Okay, so we run just one moment again. So here, this is the command WinMOS get caption version build version OS version. Here we can see that this is the build version. It is Microsoft Windows 10 Enterprise LTSC 64-bit system. This is the version. So here we have the build version, the name of the operating system, the OS architecture 64-bit or 32-bit, the version. So this is more info than displayed than the one that we have used before. And then we will use another command called sysinfo.exe. This will get a lot of information about the operating system, not only for the build numbers. So we will see what this info will tell us. So these are all useful commands that we can run to get a lot of info. So here we can see that it displays the time of the machine, the RAMs, the physical RAM, the virtual RAM, the domain, the name of the machine, the updates or hotfixes, 2 network cards, or we have, if you have any network cards, and the IP address and the subnet, the IP address and the MAC address. So there is a lot of useful information that we can get from this command sysinfo.exe. So here we know that this Windows 10 version is 17.793. So this is the info that we need. Okay, and we will use this info to download the suitable RAS or remote server access tools for this machine. Okay, so it's 17.763, and also you can run, all of these are run from the command prompt, but there is a one in the PowerShell. I will show you all. Also we can get another info. So we'll again exit and go to the PowerShell, and then we will type this command, get operating system. Here we can see that also we have this information. This is 17.763 and the serial number and the version. So also this is some useful info. So this is the info that we will take and search in the RAS tools. What are the tools that will be installed for this Windows 10 build version? Okay, so let's see how we can do this. We will use these tools to connect to the server, Windows Server Core, remotely and with a graphical interface. So now I tell him RAS tools or RSAT download. Okay, so here we'll tell him download, and then I will show you all. When you tell him to download the files, he will give you a lot of files to download. Which is the one, or which is the one that we need to install or to download? I will show you all here. So here we can see that there is a lot of things. Here is RAS tools for 1803 build, 1709 build, 2016. Remember that our build is 17.763. So this is the one that we need to download. Is 1709. It begins with 17. So it is more closer to our operating system. Okay, our operating system build is 17.763, and this is 1709. So this is the one that we need to choose, and this is the 64-bit system. Okay, there will be a problem. I will show you all that this one will not work as it was intended. So if this doesn't work, you can download and install this one, WS 2016 X 64-bit. So if this doesn't work, this will work. So anyway, let us install the 1709 RAS tools. Okay, the 64-bit, and then next okay, and then it will download. Okay, here it is. It will take a little bit of time anyway, so we will install it. Just a moment. So here I will go and install the file. I have already downloaded, and I open the share folder between this folder is shared between my laptop and my virtual machine, and this is the file that I need to install, and I will show you all what the tools that will be available for us after installing this this build, okay, oh sorry, this tool, and now we install another tool that we can access the server, Windows Server Core remotely, something called Windows Admin Center, okay. So you can install the Windows Admin Center by going to Google and tell Windows Admin Center, okay, and then download Admin Center, okay, and then it will be downloaded for free, but you need to provide your email address and some info, okay, to get the file, okay. I have already downloaded this file before, so I don't need to do all of this. I have already the file before. This file, it is there, it's called Windows Admin Center 2103, okay. So I will also install it. These are two different tools, so you can use the remote server access tools and the Windows Admin Center to access the Windows Core remotely and to manage it with a graphical interface, okay. So now remember that this is the YouTube channel. It's called 1byte ATA. So okay, let me show you all this website because I think it's not appearing correctly. So this is the website. Let me show you all. Here, this is the YouTube, okay, and let's see this channel. So let me wait for a second and show you the channel. This is another good channel, BTNHD. This is the one for deploying Windows, a very good website or YouTube channel for deploying Windows, okay. Here let me show you the website, or sorry, the other channel that I am using its video as a reference. So it's called 1byte ATA time. This is the channel. It's called 1byte at a time, okay. Here we will see a lot of playlists, okay. One of them is to install and configure Exchange 2019 on Core, and some for installing and having domain control or Windows Core PowerShell scripts. So this is a very useful website or a YouTube channel. I encourage you all to go and subscribe to it, okay. So now we will go and complete our lab. So now we are installing the remote access or remote server access tools, and I think we can also install the Windows Admin Center. It will take a little bit of time. So here we can go and install the Windows Admin Center, but before that the Windows Admin Center should run on Microsoft Edge browser. It will not work on Internet Explorer 11, so I need to install the Windows or Microsoft Edge. Microsoft Edge is not included with this version of Windows, so you can download the Microsoft Edge installation file separately and install it on this virtual machine. I have already downloaded before, so I go to this PC and go to the folder. It's called Z. This is the folder shared between my laptop and my virtual machine, and go to my AD collection. I have the file for the Microsoft Edge, okay. I have it before from another or a previous lab, okay. Here we can go to DC domain and then we go to the group policy templates, and here we have the Microsoft Edge Enterprise installation file, 64-bit, okay. We'll install it because the Windows Admin Center use this browser, okay. It can work on Chrome and on Firefox, but I prefer it to be running on Edge because this is a compatibility issue, okay. So this is Microsoft products. For sure it will run, Windows Admin Center is a Microsoft product, so it will run on browsers which are products of Microsoft, okay. So now we will install the Microsoft Edge, and then we will open the Admin Center and see the different options, how we can manage the server which doesn't have any graphical interface from the admin center from this workstation. And by the way, we will create all of the Active Directory users, groups, and everything from this workstation. So it will take a little bit of time until it installs, and then it will finish. And then we will install the admin center, and then we will discover, or we will go through the interface of the Windows Admin Center and see the different options that we can use to manage the server Windows Core remotely. Okay, so it will take a little bit of time, and then you need to install it. Okay, next. And then require the data, optional diagnostic data. This is an option too. Just a moment here. Again, this is a diagnostic. This is something related to telemetry data for Microsoft, so we need to choose this one. Okay, I don't need to choose the other one. Anyway, we need to choose this one. So tell him next. Then we do not want to use Windows Update. You can check for updates for this, so if you can go one moment here, so you can check for updates for this Windows Admin Center, but I don't have internet access on this machine, so I will use this version only. Next, and then next you can install. Okay, and here is the options. We will create a shortcut on desktop. Okay, and this is the port that this program will use to connect to the server. Okay, or to manage it through this port. Okay, then we will see the interface of this machine, and it will use Windows RM or remote management to option to connect to the server. Remember that we have enabled remote management on the Windows Core, so it will use this service to connect to the server. Okay, and we have enabled it already. Okay, it will take a little bit of time, I think, until it is installed. I think we can pause it a little bit quickly. So now it is installed, and then you double click on it to see. I think, let me get a little bit further here. So we'll choose this one and tell him open and finish. Okay, admin server client, and choose to open it. So I think you can pass it a little bit closer here. It's okay. Here we'll open the browser, then tell him what he is telling us here. He will use a certificate. So to secure the connection between the server and the workstation, there is a certificate that will be as a key. Okay, or to encrypt the connection or to secure the connection between the server and the workstation using this certificate or this key. So we will use it. Okay, and then we need to manage the server. First we need to add the server to this admin center so we can able to manage it. Let me show you all how we can do this. So here we need to add the server. Here we'll put the server name and add it. So we tell him add. Okay, here he's trying to update it, but there is no internet. And this is the latest version, but there is newer versions, I know. Okay, so here we'll close and tell him add the server, and then we will type the server name. Okay, and what he will do, he will add the server and manage the server using my administrator account or the user that I have logged in with on this machine. and the user that I logged in with this machine is the domain admin account. Okay, so here this is the name of the server, so we type it. You can search the Active Directory or you can type the name, and then we tell him to add this server. So let's wait. It will take a little bit of time until it finds this server. It will search it. Okay, so we can go a little bit further here again. So it will say that it has found it. Just a moment. So we'll pause the video, and here it has found RACC02 alert. So add the server exactly as entered. It is added. Then you can click on it. Now you can manage the server, and he will manage it. Let me show you a little bit here of something. This we go back further here. So you will add it. So here he will manage this server using the red alert administrator account. This administrator account is the domain admin account, so he can manage the server remotely. He has rights to manage this server remotely. He is the local administrator on this server, and he's the domain admin. Okay, so he can manage this server. Okay, you can change the user according to your environment. You can have an IT user. This is a member of the domain admin group. He can manage this server also. Anyway, so we will open the server and see the different options. We will see the different options that we can use to see or to manage the server remotely. Okay, first of all, this is the overview tab. If you wait for a couple of seconds, in just a moment, what we can see here we can see that this is the computer name, the domain, operating system, the build, okay, of the version of the Windows, the RAM, the hard disk, the processor, the network cards on this machine. You can restart the server from here, shut down the server from here, enable metric or disk matrix, or I think performance matrix, edit the computer ID or the computer name. This is one of the things, but there is also, if we browse down, we will see that here is something like some infograph about the CPU usage, the memory usage, okay, and the network card usage. This is something like opening the task manager, but it's much more advanced. It contains a lot of features. Okay, so you can restart the server from here. You don't need to go there and type a command to shut down. So this is one, and this is a graphical interface. All of this is done through a graphical interface. So this is the first tab. You can see here a lot of things. So you can see it from here. Even you can manage the Active Directory from here. I will show you all what I mean by this. So this is the first tab that we will use, and then we'll go to the setting to this one. Here we can see that if you have an Azure account, you can if you have an Azure cloud domain, you can sign here with the account and manage it from here also. Okay, and there is the region and personalize, and you can add different extensions to this Windows Admin Center. So you can add the Active Directory extension to this Windows Admin Center. You can manage Active Directory users, computers, groups, create, delete, or do everything from the Windows Admin Center, but you need to add the extension of the Active Directory. And from actually I don't have internet, so I will not be able to install the Active Directory extension on the Windows Admin Center. Okay, so this is the one. You have a lot of things here. Extensions. Here you will try to see available extension on the internet, but he can't reach it because there is no internet. And this is the here will get you available extensions from the internet for the Windows Admin Center. There is a lot of things for the extensions for the Admin Center. So now we will open again. We will go to the Admin Center and connect to the server again, and then we will see another tab, one of the important tabs. One is for the file and share. So this is if we can go down a little bit, we will see that there is a tab for files and file sharing. So this tab will show you all what files are shared on this folder, okay, and you can disable the share, edit the share, see the files. So here you can browse the files on the server and browse the share folders on the server and control it from here, okay. So this is also one of the good tabs. Here is the files, you can browse your files on your server, and the file shares, you can browse it from here, okay. So this is a good thing. And then we can see also the firewall and the event log, so you can access the server. Here we can see that you can see your C drive, you can browse the C drive, you can see it from here, you can make a new folder, you can rename a folder. So you have simple access to your folders remotely from here on the server. You can rename folders, you can access folders, okay, from here. So this is one of the good tools also. This is the CD-ROM, okay. So here you can access everything from here. This is the files, but I don't think that you can copy or delete. You can do simple things, for example, like renaming a file, copying. I don't know copying is working or not. Anyway, events, here you can browse the event log for the server. Okay, this is also a good thing to do. You can export the logs from here, import logs. So basically you can do everything on the server from this interface, okay. So here we will go to another one. This is application. You can see the local users and groups, okay, but this is a domain, so you will not see local users and groups, okay. And you can go to the network, you can go and see the network cards and edit their setting from here. So let's wait and see. Here we can see that these are the logs, and you can see it from here. We'll go to the firewall. Remember that we have disabled the firewall on this server, so let's see if these settings are in effect. So here we can see that just a moment. Here we can see that all of them are disabled. So this we have done it from the command prompt from the server. If we go to networks, we will see the different network cards here, and we can edit them and put IP addresses and change the setting of the network card, okay. So this is also a good way. You can see the network card, you can edit the network card setting, and we will see also that you can open a PowerShell window or a module on the server from here, and I will show you all how this can be done. So this is the first graphical interface that we will use, or graphical interface tool that we will use to manage the server from here. There is two other tools, I will show you all, but this is the first one. And we will secure this workstation on the upcoming videos to be very secure, so we can use it without any security hazards, okay. So this is the network cards, okay. You can click on them and choose the network card and change the setting. Here is a PowerShell session that will be ran on the server, and I will show you when I type who am I, he will give me the user that is logged in on this server. So let's wait. Here he is trying to connect, so there is a session logged in with user red alert administrator. I will type who am I or host name, press enter. Here he will get me the computer name. So this is RACC01. Remember that I am on PAW, not RACC01. Who am I? I am the red alert administrator. So you can disconnect. Now we can run any commands remotely on the PowerShell from here on the server, okay. Now we can go to the processes. Here we can see all the processes running on the server and end processes or begin processes on the server from here, okay. And then here is the role and features. You can add role and features from here. So later we will use these role and features to add DHCP or to add a lot of things, okay. So we can use it from here. You can add any server role feature, file server, WSOS from here, okay. This is the remote desktop. So we will connect remotely using the desktop or this remote desktop connection manager. From here we will provide the password, okay, and then it will connect using a certificate, okay, to secure the connection between my workstation and my server. Okay, so we will type the password and tell him connect, okay, confirm. So he will use this certificate to connect to the server, and then we will connect. You will see that we can see the server as if we are in a remote desktop session. Okay, you can open the schedule tasks from here. Services, if there is any services on this server, you can disable it from here. Okay, so now we will take a little bit of time until you can see the server. Just wait for a moment. Here we can see that this is a window. You can send Control Alt Delete. Okay, so here we are on the server remotely using the remote desktop manager or remote desktop connection manager. If you tell him send Control Alt Delete, here we can see that we are the administrator. Now I am on the server, okay, remotely, not through the PowerShell. Okay, so you will disconnect, and then we will go to the storage also. Here I will save the password. Storage here will get you the hard disk, so you can create partitions, delete partitions, format partitions from the storage tab, okay, from the Windows Admin Center. Okay, so this is one. You can here see the updates, if there is any updates, so you can check for updates for Windows on the server and restart the server after the updates from the updates tab also. So let's wait and see what we will get. So here you can choose your disk. This is, we have only one disk, so we will choose it, and here we can see that he will give you the partitions created on this server. We have only one partition, which is the C drive, and it is have free space and whatsoever, and this is the updates. Here we can see the available updates. He will check and tell him to check updates from Microsoft, so we can do a check for Windows update from here, and you can restart the server after the updates are installed. So you have here a lot of things to do. Here you can choose the updates and install them, so you can do this graphically, okay, without the command prompt. So this is also a good thing. So this is a good thing. I think we can so you can go to roles and features. After that, from here we can install different roles and features. Okay, so now we can see you have two updates, two items. You can choose the updates and install them, and this is the update history, and you can restart it after the update is finished. Okay, so this is roles and features. You can choose which server role or feature you need to install on this server. Okay, so this can be done also through the graphical interface. So you can see the Windows features. Here we can see we can choose the thing that you need to install and then install from here. Choose the one that you need to install. It is installed, and then we can install it. We can choose all of this. We can close the connection. Now let me show you all. This is the first way you can access the server through this graphical interface. Then go to Administrative Tools. After installing the Remote Server Access Tools, if you open this one, here we can see that we have the tools to access the domain Active Directory and the DHCP and a lot of things, but take a note, we don't find the DNS here. So here are all of the consoles that we can use to access the server remotely: the Active Directory console, the Group Policy console, Group Management Policy console, the File Server console, the Event Viewer, the DHCP, but we don't have the DNS. This is a bug, okay, because the RAS tools for this Windows version doesn't contain the DNS. So we will uninstall the RAS tools from this workstation and install another version of the RAS or RSAT tools to have the DNS available. So let's first, what we will do, we will make a custom console and put all of the consoles that we need to manage this server in this custom blank console. Okay, so let's wait. Here we will open and tell him file, this is a custom blank console, add snap-in, and then we will add all of the consoles that we will use to manage this server remotely. So we will put the Active Directory users and computers, and then we will add DNS is not available, so this is the one. We will add so here I can't find DNS. We will add the Group Policy Management console, okay, and then we will add a couple of things, and at the end we will uninstall the RAS tools, okay, but because this version doesn't contain the DNS console, and we will install another RAS tool version, which was WS 2016, the one that I was referring to in the beginning. Okay, so we will add all of this and tell him okay. So this is the second way to manage the server remotely, through this graphical interface tools, which call RAS or Remote Server Access Tool, RAST. Okay, here we can find, this is the domain. Now we can manage users and groups from here. This is the group policy, you can manage group policies from here. But here we can see that we don't have the DNS. So what we will do, so we will open the server manager. Let's see if we can get the server manager, we can get the DNS from it. But actually if we go to the tools, okay, we will not see DNS. So I'm trying to get the DNS. This is the third way that you can manage the server remotely, through the server manager. So we can manage it through the Windows Admin Center, through the RAS or Remote Server Access Tool, or from the server manager. I will show you all how we can do this. Now we can't find the DNS. We will kill him, create a server group, we will add our servers to this group, and now we can manage these servers from here. I will show you all what I mean by this. Just wait for a moment. Here we will go to the Active Directory and type or put the server name, and we will add it. So I'll tell him RACC01, okay, and tell him find now. I will add it. So we'll find here a group called servers. You can add the other server, but we will add it later. Need to give this group a name, so we'll give it a name, servers, okay, and then tell him okay. Now what can we do from here? If you go to servers, okay, go here. So this is the third tool you can use to manage the servers. Okay, so let's wait and see. If you click on servers and then you right click on the server, let me show you all what will appear after that. So we'll close this one first, we will save it. Okay, let's see, I can't find the DNS still, so I'm searching for the DNS console, but I can't find it. So this is another way. So I have searched the internet for a solution. Okay, let's go here. I have searched the internet. Okay, so here, just a moment guys. So here, ignore this one, but let me show you all here. We will close this one. Okay, and let's open the server manager console. If you right click on here, so just a moment, if you right click here on this server, what can we see here? You can see that you can add roles and features, you can restart the server, you can make a remote desktop management, you can make network teaming between network cards, you can remove server, you can open a PowerShell command. So you can do everything from here. This is the third tool that you can use to manage the server. So you can manage it from here, add roles and features, restart the server, make a remote desktop connection, open a PowerShell session. All of this can be done from here, or done from the REST tools, remote server access tools, or from the Windows Admin Center. So these are the three ways to access the server remotely through a graphical interface. Okay, so let's see here. And here we can see that I can't find the DNS. Here I can't find the DNS, so after searching, just a moment guys. So let's continue guys. Here, to fix the problem of the DNS console not appearing in the remote server access tools, we will go to the programs and features and uninstall this KB, which is by uninstalling this update, okay, from the Windows. This will remove the REST tools that we have installed previously, and we'll install another REST tool version. I will show you all what I mean by this. So we will go, and just a moment, so let's go there and show you all what I mean. Just a moment. Again, so let me show you all here. Okay, this is the error, or this is saying that the REST tools is missing DNS server tools. Okay, so we will use another version. Let me show you all. This is the one that we have installed. The REST tools for 1709 doesn't contain the DNS. Okay, so we'll use another version. Okay, I have showed you all previously. Let me show you all again. What is this one? So here you go. Let me show you something first. Just a moment. This is the one. So I go to the REST tool website and downloaded this one and install it. But before installing this one, you need to remove this one. Okay, so to remove this one, we will go further here again. So you need to first, so here is the website. I installed or downloaded this one, but before downloading this one, you need to uninstall this one from the programs and features in Windows. Okay, so we'll go there and download it and then install it. So here it's already installed. He's saying that you have already this version installed, so we'll go there and open the programs and features. So, okay, this is the one. We'll go to program and features. We will uninstall the wrong REST tools for 1709. So we will uninstall. Just wait for a moment. View installed updates. See here, this is the one for the REST tools. So the REST tools was installed by this update. The wrong one, the wrong REST tools that doesn't contain the DNS. So we will remove it and install the new one. Okay, the new one. Okay, so we will remove it. Okay, remove this one. Okay, this is the one. We will remove it. Okay, and so let's go there. Okay, so we will remove it. As I said before, here we'll put an uninstall, and then we will install another version of REST tools. Okay, so let's go there. Now we have uninstalled it. We will go and install another version. If you open the administrative tools, here we can see that they are all removed. Okay, so for the Active Directory and so on. Now we will install the new version that we need. So here we will go, and this is the one. So we have uninstalled this one and we'll install this one. Okay, so we'll go there and install it. Okay, and then if we go again, so just a moment, let me show you all what happened. Here we can see that when we open the administrative tools, the DNS is available now. So now we can go to our custom console and add the DNS. So now we will go and open the red alert custom console and add our DNS. So now we will go and tell him add snap-in. So now we have everything there. We will add the snap-in. add remove snapping, and then we will add the DNS. So we have our console prepared, and then we'll create a reverse DNS zone. So this we should do after creating the domain. Now here is the DNS. Where is the DNS we will connect to? Or is the DNS on this computer? For sure it's not. It is on RACC01 computer, which is the domain controller and the DNS. So we'll type the name of the server here, CC01, and then OK. So you have three different tools to manage your server: the RAS tools, or the Windows Admin Center, or the Server Manager. Now we go to the reverse lookup zone. Its function is to resolve the IP of the machine to the name. Okay, so now we put the network that we have. So we have network 192.68.1, and then next, and then finish. So now we have created our reverse lookup or reverse DNS lookup zone. We'll go to the properties of the DNS, and we will do something called forwards DNS. What is the forwards DNS? The DNS function is to resolve the IP, or to resolve the name of the machines to the IP address of the machines internally. But what if you need to resolve an IP address for a machine outside the domain on the internet? So the forwards here, the forwards come to place. We will tell him, if you need to resolve IP addresses of machines outside the domain, go to a certain server on the internet. He will help you to resolve this one. So we put the DNS, or to put the forward DNS server of our gateway and the DNS of Google. So we'll do this. We'll tell him edit and put 192.168.1.2 and 8.8.8.8. So if you want to go to the internet, you need to check, or if you want to check a website on the internet, you need to check these two servers to get you the name of the server, or the name of the website, and the IP of the website. Okay, so this is there. We will tell him OK, apply and OK, and then we can save our console. So we'll save, and then this is the end of our video. Now, or in the upcoming video, we'll begin working with more configuration we will do to this, or hardening this workstation configuration to make it more secure, so we can connect securely to our server. So now we will shut down the server, okay, or shut down the workstation, and take a snapshot from it, and shut down the server or the domain controller and take a snapshot from it. So let's go there. Here we can shut down. So here I've shut down the machine and then logged into this machine and type a password, and then you can go to the sconfig menu and shut down the server, or you can shut down it from here, from this one. Okay, so just power off. I have taken a snapshot already from the PAW here. Okay, and I will take, or I will close this server. So we'll tell him sconfig, and you can shut it down from here. Okay, so sconfig, and then choose number 14, which is to shut down the server. So here you can go, here you can see, just a moment again. So we'll go here and tell him 14 to shut down the server. Okay, so here we will tell him shut down 14 to shut down the server, and press enter. You want to shut down the server. Okay, and now if you go to this virtual machine and see the snapshot manager, you can see that we have taken a snapshot now. Okay, this is the one. And as for the server, we will just power off. So this is a snapshot from the PAW workstation. You can rename it to be anything you need, before or after domain. Join, close, and you can take a snapshot also from the server if you need. So now we take the snapshots. Here we can see that here it is, and you can take a snapshot of the server if you like. I prefer to do this actually on a regular basis. So I think now the video is finished. So hope this video was informative for you all, and would like to thank you all for viewing. Until the next video, thank you so much.